most of the time at least, and he is dominant. Let's take a look at his numbers just over the first 2 weeks, okay? I wrote all these down, and I got some takes, so just get ready, okay? It's very important. While the rest of the country in their first 2 games of the season were playing maybe a huge game against the non-conference Power 5 opponent, Power 4 opponent. I get that, okay? One of those. But then you play an FCS opponent. Baylor has now played a ranked, what is a ranked SEC Auburn football team, okay? And they played what was a ranked college football playoff team, SMU, okay? In those 2 games, Sawyer Robertson has thrown for 859 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. And by the way, I'm not even counting what he does with his feet, because any coaches now that sleep on Sawyer Robertson and the quarterback draw or his running ability, you got a problem that I can't solve, because by now y'all should have figured that out. But you haven't, and that's fine. Sawyer Robertson is this, and I always bring it back to gambling, and I'm not gambling on Baylor because I like Baylor, and I don't care if anybody can say, oh, Pete, you're supposed to be inside the 12. You call Baylor games sometimes, you know, like you did a UCF game. You did a, a Houston game, you know. How can you cheer for Baylor? I don't cheer for Baylor openly. I love the university. I love people affiliated with it. They helped me get my start on that like next level of broadcasting for me. And John Morris, you could say, is one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing play-by-play for ESPN now. So I'm always going to love Baylor, and you can blow it out your ass if you got an issue with that. So as I'm watching Baylor, and I'm hoping for a comeback on Saturday, the one thing I do not worry about is Sawyer Robertson. Like, Baylor fans, I want you to take a moment and thank, I know we're doing heavy God, but again, we're liberal here. But I want you to thank the person upstairs or whoever that person is in your life, right? The Baptist, probably God. Just thank him for Sawyer Robertson, because of all the stressed out situations that college football fans have, 99.9% of the time it goes back to your quarterback, okay? When Sawyer Robertson has the football, I feel so free as a fan. I don't feel confined. I don't feel pressure. I feel free. I feel, what's this badass going to do next type energy, okay? And that is the same type of energy that he used to get Baylor back down 2 scores with, 5-6 minutes left. They take the game to overtime. They win the game. Ice water in this dude's veins, okay? Now, just a few states away, long drive, shorter flight, in Starkville, Mississippi, later on that evening, I got a chance. Now, I'm calling my game at UCF, okay? Now, this game becomes a 60-0 affair. You want to see quarterback issues, okay? FCS opponent, North Carolina A&T, goes to Orlando to play a pissed-off UCF team. They lost 3 quarterbacks. 3! Their coach after the game, they were like, yo, Coach Gibbs, was it worth $500,000 to come to Orlando to play at the Bounce House? The place was sold out. It was rocking. He said unequivocally, no. He was like, this is ridiculous. Now, there's people inside that athletic department at North Carolina A&T that'll say, bro, we get you to play 2 more of these money games. We got $1.5 million. That covers our athletic department for the entire year. So they're necessary for those kind of athletic departments. They just are. I think sometimes a lot of these FCS coaches think that they're being sent to walk the green mile when they play those games. And there's truth to that. But FCS opponents have been there for guys like Sam Levitt, right? Sam Levitt's first game, Northern Arizona, an FCS opponent. They dominate, right? We saw him run for a 50-yard touchdown. We saw him throw for more. But then, too many cowbells. I mean, the cowbells could not have been that loud. For a guy we're talking about going in the top 5 of the NFL draft next year, the guy who I always thought this, and I think Sam Levitt's a great quarterback and a great kid. We're talking strictly football breakdowns here, okay? The fact that everybody was like, Sam Levitt is the second coming of Aaron Rodgers, I thought was insanity, okay? And I still think that. And now I believe it more than ever. 10 for 22, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, right? Is that what I got here? Yeah. And it was bad, dude. It was bad. Like, in a game where we saw a quarterback like Sawyer Robertson, right, playing against a ranked opponent, like he took his team down the field like 3 times under heavy duty pressure, made all the throws, right? Doesn't leave the pocket until he has to. I'm not sitting here. It annoys the shit out of me that Colin Cowherd is always talking to me like he's Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh, I should say, as we get ready for Randy Cross. I talk to other people who are close to the Bill Walshes, right, and the Randy Crosses. And I talked to a couple of them this weekend. I talked to them about 2 quarterbacks, or 3. I talked to him about Sawyer, a big-time NFL scout. I talked to him about Sam Levitt, and I talked to him about Bear Bachmeyer. First of all, the Bear Bachmeyer stuff, what I'm hearing from people around pro football is, okay, we're keeping an eye on this dude. I mean, obviously, you don't want to say it's premature because they're always keeping an eye on people. The kid is 19 years old, Bear Bachmeyer. 19. He devoured that BYU offensive playbook, which is by no means like a simple deal, right? It's just not. Aaron Roderick has there's a lot going on there. Okay. So that in itself tells you so much about this guy that he earned that starting job in camp against 2 very experienced Power 4, or not Power 4, very experienced Division I quarterbacks, right? And he's dominated. He has shown poise, right? He has made the smart throws. He stays in the pocket. He doesn't leave early, right? This is what I was told. And his poise and his mechanics and his moxie and his size is measurable. His great arm strength, they are really catching the eyes of NFL scouts. And BYU has a bye this week. Okay, next week after that, they go on the road to ECU. And here's what I'll tell you about that ECU game. It's not a trap game when you have a bye before it. That's truly what I believe. It can't be a trap. And I believe in the name of Andy Reid, right, a BYU alum who dominates the week after buys, I think BYU will do the same deal, right? And then you jump into your Big 12 schedule. Bear Bachmeyer and BYU, like buckle up, baby. I was so pissed I didn't get a call to do one of those early BYU games. I'm happy to go wherever I can, but I just know Provo. I know that environment. And I want to see, like, he was the first true freshman ever to start a game for BYU. Think about the illustrious history of BYU quarterbacks. I've talked about it on this show forever. People give me a hard time that I bring up Mark Wilson when I say those names. Too bad. Okay? Mark Wilson was great. Not great as a Raider. But I want to jump back into Sam Levitt as we finish up some of this quarterback talk, and then we'll go back to Sawyer. Sam Levitt, again, that game was 60-0 my game. So I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't have that Arizona State game on to my left, right, with like minutes left in our game. And I during a break was able to see Sam Levitt just panic. And they couldn't finish a drive where they were on the inch-yard line that would have won them the game. They could only kick a field goal. And then I don't know what was going on with Arizona State's defense. 9 guys back. It seemed like they had nobody on the field. And they made Blake Shapen look like Tom Brady. Really, they did. God bless Blake Shapen, right? But it was frustrating as somebody who wants to see the Big 12 do well. So I'm a little resentful of Sam Levitt this morning. That could contribute to some of this. Last thing, okay? I told you we were going to make some money, or at least I was going to put us in contention. Sawyer Robertson's odds for the Heisman Trophy have lengthened after the first 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on. I'm not asking questions. I will just tell you this. If you haven't seen enough out of Sawyer Robertson, right, to put a couple shekels on that dude to win the Heisman Trophy right now, don't tell me I didn't tell you. Do not tell me that I didn't tell you. I'm looking you right in the eye, and I don't do this that often. Don't tell me I didn't tell you, okay? The guy is a house of fire. And thank God Baylor has a chance to catch their breath against Samford next week, right? And then they welcome Arizona State to the friendly confines of McLean Stadium. And Baylor is going to be feeling really good about themselves come kickoff that Saturday against Arizona State. And I'm feeling really good about Baylor right now, too. We'll step aside. We're going to take a break. We're going to